So, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. And this is a weekly wrap with Arjit Kirk, a SEBI-registered research analyst. We'll be talking about what happened throughout the week, the stocks, the news, and the index movements. So, for more insights on this particular topic, we have Arjit Kirk. Arjit, thank you so much for joining, and let's get started.
Awesome. Firstly, let's talk about what really happened in the markets yesterday on Friday. So, markets are closed with a huge loss. We saw a down move of about 1.15% in Nifty, closed with a loss of around 300 points at 23,897. I remember on Thursday we marked a couple of important levels and we colored them in red so that nobody gets confused. And the very first level was 24,000 and the next level was 23,850. And if I remember clearly, we had marked that level around here and we were like, agar girega, so first it would come down to 24,000, then it would go down to 23,850. And if this level is broken, then we would see a fresh down move till 23,680, and that is exactly something that has happened. So we did break 24,000 decisively, but we took a support from 23,850. 23,850 we did not break, which is a positive in all of the negativity that we are seeing. Similarly, Sensex as well. Sensex closed with a loss of 1.3%, around 1,000 points down move at 76,664. Right, that was the final provisional close. The final close was 76,680. Now, why did we see this sudden down move? Right. So, what really happened on Thursday night and on Friday morning that we have seen sudden down move? Well, there are a couple of reasons behind it. The first reason is the change in FII DII activity. Now, DIs, though, again, the DIs won't really stop buying in. You see DI movement, and for the entire week, except one day on 22nd of April, almost all the days, the domestic institutions are buying. Just to let our viewers know, DIS matlab your mutual funds, insurance companies, basically big institution that are from India take money. They take money like insurance. They take money in form of premiums. Mutual funds, they take your money to invest it somewhere, right? So all of these are domestic institutions. DIs are constantly buying in. You see, the entire month of April, there's been a huge buying by DII. But FIIs, on the other hand, they're constantly selling huge amounts. The 30th March was, 30th March was 11,000 crores was sold in a single day. And from that day onwards, except a couple of days where, thora chutta paisa they gave us to the market, apart from that, almost every day they're selling huge amounts. So this is the number one reason why the markets have been under pressure, not just on Friday, but for the entire week. If you look at Nifty on the weekly time frame, today is Friday 24th of April. If we just, today is Saturday. The last trading day was Friday 24th of April. If you just go 6 days behind, let's start from Monday. If you look at Monday's opening, somewhere over here, right at 24,413. And if I just try to see where the market closed for the entire week, that was markets, especially Nifty 50, traded with a loss of 2% or around 500 points, opened at 24,400 and closed below 24,000 at around 23,900. This entire negative movement, the first reason that we just saw was FII movement. The FIIs, they are not ready to trust our markets. They're constantly selling every day in huge amounts. The second reason is the spike in crude oil. So if I just look at Brent crude over here, now I know a lot of you might be bored of hearing Brent crude every day, but trust me, Brent crude is just, if you just look at Brent crude, you would really understand which direction the market is really going on, right? Brent crude, again, we discussed this day before yesterday on Thursday as well, that above 100 is a dangerous zone. Above 100 basically tells us that uncertainty in the market is not yet over. Anything bad can happen almost anytime, right? Friday as well, we see that the markets had topped at 107. 107 is like a very dangerous zone. Last time जब 107 crude ने touch किया था, and when we like crossed above 107, that was somewhere around 27th of March, and even before that, that was around 18th of March. Both of these days, 18th of March, 27th of March, both of these days were the same days when the war was escalating constantly. या तो Strait of Hormuz में some of the other ships were being attacked, or Middle Eastern countries were being attacked by Iran. Something bad was happening at that time. And crude is exactly at the same level, exactly after the 2 3 weeks gap once again. Now, I'm not saying that some or the other country might be attacked. I'm just trying to indicate that uncertainty is not yet over. In fact, it's not just that I am telling you guys, I'm just trying to interpret what the charts are telling us. So uncertainty is not over. That is point number two, जो हमें crude oil से पता चला, right? The point number three is what is really happening between US and Iran. So Friday ko it was expected that the ceasefire talks, remember the ceasefire, 2 week ceasefire that had happened between US and Iran, that ceasefire was supposed to end on 22nd and 23rd of April, somewhere Wednesday, Thursday. Now, the ceasefire did end, but U.S. President Donald Trump, he said that we are willing to extend this ceasefire. We don't want to end the ceasefire right now. We have done the first round of talks. Did not go well. It's okay. We just don't want to end the ceasefire. Iran, on the broader way, they said that we don't want to end the ceasefire. We want to end the ceasefire and we'll keep attacking you and we'll keep retaliating and all of that global thing. But on ground, they are respecting the ceasefire, right? So on ground reality is that there are no ships being attacked. There is no fresh violations to ceasefire that is happening. Yes, a couple of ships did get attacked, like a couple of Indian ships got attacked. A couple of ships routing through the Middle Eastern countries, they were attacked in Strait of Hormuz. But again, it's just a couple of incidences, no regular violations that are happening on ground. Now, the reason why I'm telling you about all of this is because on Friday it was expected that the ceasefire ka peace talks part two was supposed to happen in Pakistan over the weekend, right? So everybody was waiting for it that okay, Pakistan is going to announce that okay, ceasefire is going to happen or not. If the talks are going to happen, if yes, who all are the participants who are going to take part in it? All of the details were supposed to come over the weekend. But on Friday, it was announced that the ceasefire talks are not going to be happening. They are not going to take place in Pakistan, or they're not going to take place at least over the weekend right now. That again threw all of the global markets in uncertainty once again. So maybe Friday को people were expecting कि शायद weekend पे something good might happen. Well, nothing good is happening. Uncertainty is still there. Now, we just know that the ceasefire talks or the peace talks that are not happening. But are they attacking anybody? Is Israel being attacked, or is Israel attacking Iran, or is Iran attacking some other country? We do not know about that yet. But yes, everybody is taking precautions. Nobody knows what is going to happen next. What I am assuming is because today is Saturday and nothing negative has come out so far, something will definitely come out tomorrow which will affect our market. Now, it can be positive, it can be negative, but something will definitely happen because you can draw a pattern out of what is happening over the past 1 to 2 months. Every weekend, if nothing happens on Friday evening and Saturday, something definitely happens on Sunday, which moves our market on Monday. That is exactly why, because such high probability of uncertainty is already there in the market. That is why we are constantly recommending all of our viewers, even during our recommendation that we give out on Zdvisor, we are constantly recommending people not to carry any overnight positions. You don't know which way would the market go. You do not know if the ceasefire talks will really happen or not, or maybe if everything fails, would they start attacking all of the countries once again? You never know about anything. Trading such markets, especially carrying overnight positions in such market, would be outrightly gambling. And we are not here to gamble, right? We are here to invest. We are here to use the market and its power of compounding to grow our wealth in the long term, right? So the best way to trade the markets would be once again mark the levels, follow your respective favorite advisor on ZWise Advisors, and at the end of the day, mark the levels and stay in touch with your expert to know what are the right levels to buy, what are the right levels to sell, and going forward, we'll also discuss about a couple of stocks. So, what are the right opportunities for you to invest in the market and stay hedged? That is the most important part of maybe navigating through this entire time, or this entire time of uncertainty. We will the money.
Mm, yes. Thank you, Arjit, for that. Now, before we go ahead with the stocks and the sectors, can you give us a overall summary of the global markets?
Sure. So overall, the global markets were again in a tight range or under consolidation. Let's quickly look at all of the markets one by one. So we'll start with UK 100, that is our FTSE 100, which is the UK markets. Let's quickly have a look at it, and we are seeing that there is this downward movement that we're seeing in the market, right? This is called a bearish flag pattern. Now, if we just have a trend line drawn here, now I know the trend line is not very proper, breach ho raha hai do baar, but on the broader end, if you just look at this, this looks like a bearish flag pattern. Now, from here, what I can see, if I just just zoom in and if we just dive deeper here, we are seeing a support level over here. If I just mark this level here, bearish flag है वो तो है on the broader end there is a bearish flag, but how do you see that a reversal is coming? You mark the levels, you're seeing that the support level is somewhere over here. ठीक है, the markets did come up, यहाँ पे market आया था, let me draw a path here, नीचे आया, the markets did go up, it came back down, and now this is where they are creating another symmetrical triangle kind of a pattern. The pattern is not yet complete, but what can happen really from here is market can go upwards till 10,439 Great British Pound GBP. From here, either the market would again come down, creating a tighter range, or the market can again go up and bounce back from here, creating what we can also recognize as a W pattern or double bottom pattern. Now, again, that is something that we are expecting based on our experience, based on how I've been looking at charts for a couple of years now. But right now, the support level is clear. The resistance level here again is clear, 10,454 resistance and 10,371 as a support, right? So these two levels are very clear. Once we see a movement towards either of the levels, once the levels are breached, then we can have a, again we can just come around the levels and we can see which direction the markets are going. But all in all, if you see a weekly movement at FTSE 100, let's start with Monday's opening over here, right? A very bad movement, a very negative movement here in FTSE 100 as well. Approximately 3% down. It had opened at 10,702 and it's closed around 10,389. So a very negative move from UK's market. Let's quickly go to CAC 40, which is our French markets. Just a second, wrong clicker. Right, this one. Here we had already marked the levels 8336 and 8645, and we had talked about this on Wednesday, Thursday as well. The level was breached already, but we were like कि जब तक ये break होके इसके ऊपर कुछ movement नहीं आएगा तब तक we are not sure what's going to happen next. The level did get broken 8336, but again gap down हुआ, came back down to the level, and वहां से we saw a resistance down here. Overall, if you see on a weekly basis, we are seeing open hua tha somewhere around here. Not that of a down move, but yeah, just because of the global sentiments are bad, हल्का सा pressure है market में. So it did close the entire week with a loss of 1.8%. The pattern, however, is like it looks like the markets are in a consolidation right now. If I have to mark the entire range over here, this is the broad range that we can see in CAC 40 over here. Breakout आया था ऊपर. I'm not saying breakout नहीं आया था. Breakout आया, but again the markets could not sustain them. So until unless once again now this fresh level, until unless this level gets broken, I believe you here is again flattish on the side. We cannot expect a fresh move in CAC 40 either. Let's quickly look at the German market as well, which is our DAX index. Once again, here as well, same story. We had marked the support level. Market was somewhere over here. We marked the support. Support did get broken once again. Now the support is acting as a resistance. Negative movement here as well. But again, not that of a negative move. Barely 1%, 1.2% ka negative move. So the overall sentiment in German market as well, it's flat. Na positive hai, na negative hai. 1% up and down, that is quite normal for any healthy markets to trade in. Now, ये तो था European market. We just saw European market, what's going on there. Now, when I log into the US markets now, that is where things get interesting. Let's opposite. European markets, we are seeing that the European markets were under pressure. All of the markets gave you negative returns. Even our Indian markets are giving negative returns. But the American market Oh my god, what a move here. Everything is positive. It looks like they're not even in a war. Look at the positive movement here. If you just look at the weekly move here, uh, yeah, the Monday is open. Let's consider this as the open, right?
But
This
why
yeah.
this? Why is the US market at all-time high?
I'll come to that. So the US market, this index that we're seeing is the Nasdaq Composite. Nasdaq is basically in India we have the IT index, right? So Nasdaq represents all of the IT companies in the US market. Now, after looking at Nasdaq, we look at S&P 500 also. S&P 500 basically looks at just like how we have Nifty 50, the top 50 companies. Similarly, S&P 500 is the top 500 companies of the US market. So Nasdaq, though, bhai, everything is very well going on. 1.7% gains doesn't even look like the country is in a war. Let's confirm this by looking at SPX, which is S&P 500, right? Look at what's the change here. Exit, you look at exit, and it's a positive momentum here, 1.75%. Everything is bullish. Higher highs and higher lows. That pattern is being formed here. If we look at SPX, S&P 500, higher high is somewhat there, but it's again in a tight range. I'll draw the range over here, right over here, right? Breakout, एकदम fresh breakout आया है range से in the S&P 500, but all in all the range is there. So मतलब S&P 500 says that US market, it's like in under pressure. It's not very bullish. It's not very bearish. We still don't know which way we have to go, which direction we have to trade. But the markets are positive with a like it's in a range with bullish buys. Nasdaq, that the IT index, that is going on a different level. That's very positive. Let's quickly look at the weekly momentum in S&P 500 here. If we look at Monday's open was somewhere here and Friday's close were, it's almost flat, 0.66% gains, opened at somewhere around 7,113 and it closed at 7,165, barely half percent, 0.65%. Now, coming to your question, why is the US market rallying? So, US market, see, if you look at the top 10 or top 20 companies that represent NASDAQ, or just the 20 companies that represent the US market, all of those 20 companies are IT companies. I don't have the exact weightage right now, but just to discuss it about all of it, the top company is, we all know about it, NVIDIA. All of the other companies are either it's Alphabet, which is Google, we have OpenAI, we have Tesla, we have all of the other companies that use Nasdaq. We also have Apple and Microsoft. All of these companies, they are some or the other way, they are customers of Nvidia. So see, market में कैसा चलता है? If there's a company, कंपनी का कस्टमर भी वही एंड उसके बाद देन एट द एंड ऑफ द यूर गिवन आउट सर्विस विद द सेम कंपनी. It's like a loop. Your money goes out and some or the other way it comes back to you. So the US market, it's currently what we can a simpler term for it would be the IT bubble or the AI bubble that is active in the US markets and almost everybody knows about it. You just have to search on Google the US market bubble and you'll get thousands of videos about it. But the point here is not to talk about the bubble. The point here is that you know the bubble is going on. Now, how do you hedge your positions again around it? How do you make sure that even if the market goes down, you don't lose a lot of money? Your capital is not wiped out. How do you do that? We've already discussed about it. You look at how the derivatives are stacking up for that particular market. How are the other companies doing it? Say, suppose, for example, say you have some other company, just a random, let's say XYZ is a company listed on the US market. It's not an AI company, it's not an IT company, but you know for a fact that that particular company is doing well fundamentally. The stock might not be performing very well, but the company is doing well. Now, how do you make sure that your investments in this company are safe? You take a hedge, you invest in not just that one company, you create a basket so that if the market goes up, all of the top sectors, stocks from the top sectors that are there in the portfolio, if the markets do not perform very well, you have a hedge, you have other sectors as well that might perform good, right? If we take the example of the Indian markets in this scenario, let me quickly look at the pharma index. just a second, pharmaceutical, pharma and healthcare, right over here. Now, when the markets were falling, everybody knew that the market is falling, all the sectors were doing bad. But even at the bottom, in the first week of April, second, third, fourth of April, all the sectors were falling. Still, pharmaceutical sector was doing very well. And at that time, we had recommended a couple of pharmaceutical stocks. You name it, we had Glenmark, we had Dr. Reddy that we were talking about at that time. And you see, pharmaceutical sector, just the broader index, while the market has not performed very well, Nifty broader market is not performing very well. Pharmaceutical index just in say 1 month is not yet over, but until now, within April, this index has given you around 6.3% returns. So this is one way you can hedge against the market. So auto sector is falling, real estate is falling. You're seeing that consumer durables was also one of the top losing sectors this month. IT fell. It was like a 6%. It was a bloodbath for IT on Friday. If I can just load the sector here, sectoral index, IT was down 5.9% in a single trading session. And we are seeing that pharmaceutical sector did 6.3% in a month, right? So while all of the top performing sector or the heavyweight sectors that people have huge expectations from, when all of these good sectors start falling, you should have one such stock from such sector which you know is fundamentally good. You know that sector is one of the evergreen sectors or a sector which will not fall when the broader market is falling. See, this is where all of the fundamentals come into play. We have talked about beta in one of our previous sessions. So beta is one of those metrics that help you understand whether that particular sector or whether that particular stock will it fall in line with the markets or will it rise when the market is falling, right? So you can combine that beta along with several other metrics, and that is how you can screen for the right stock and the right sector at the right time in the market, right? So globally, coming back to the point, we are talking about global markets. So global markets are doing not very well. We saw the European markets, it was in red, but the US market, on the other hand, was doing very well. It's touching new, fresh life highs. So once again, if you compare all of the global markets, the sentiment is mixed. You don't have a fixed sentiment कि अरे the markets will rally or the markets will fall. The sentiment is mixed. So what really tells us कि यार what do you think will where will the market go? Once again, uncertainty is at peak. You would know only once the news comes out which direction will the market go. Maybe if the peace talks happen very well, they start talking about ending the war, the markets would be up 2-3% in a single week. But on the other hand, if there are no talks, if the war continues and there are more attacks between US and Iran, or maybe more ships gets attacked, or something goes wrong with the Strait of Hormuz, the market would continue the fall. And to be protected, to stay protected, we already have the levels marked on the chart for Nifty 50. Keep it up.
Great. That was very interesting to know, Ajit. Now let's dig into sectors. Now almost we have covered good sectors already. So let's dig into individual stocks. How about we start off with the Infosys and TCS? They recently just announced the results.
Sure. Let's quickly look at the charts of Infosys here. Now, the reason why IT sector was falling is because of TCS and Infosys. To be honest, a lot of
Yes.
like the results were out and the results were not very good. Like the results were on the bad side, I would say. But I cannot use like blunt terms like it was very poor. But
Yeah.
the results were not very good, and that is why all of these heavyweights they were down and they were pulling the IT sector together. You look at Tech Mahindra. If I just load the charts here, you look at Tech Mahindra. We are already looking at Infosys. You look at TCS. TCS में तो not just the results, but something else is also going on. Something that I know we cannot discuss it on the live here, but something not very good around their ethics is going on with TCS. So let's just leave TCS for the moment. Let's focus on Infosys. The results were not very good and technically the stock is very weak. So if somebody has a position in Infosys already, maybe from lower levels, I don't think you would have a position from lower levels already because the stock is at like 52 weeks low. But even if you have an older position here, I believe this is the right time to book your stop losses and get away from IT sector as far as possible. Why am I suggesting to get out of IT sector and stay away from it? The primary reason is the AI thing that is now the AI, how it's developing, how it's taking over all of the services that these IT giants used to offer. TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, these are software companies. Their job is to help other businesses, B2B services देते हैं ये, तो their job is to help others create maybe a good portal, maybe they provide CRM, they provide various other IT solutions. In 2026, in April, if you open any AI model, you talk about Anthropic AI's Claude AI, you look at OpenAI's ChatGPT, or you look at Google's Gemini, all of these models can help you create all of these services that these tech giants create in a matter of minutes. They charge, maybe they charge a huge fees, right? They're big firms. They need to run offices, they need to pay salaries. There are several other expenses that a company that they have to take on, right? So they charge their fees accordingly. But now that all of these AI companies are coming over and people are now actually paying attention to all of these AI companies can do all of these roles at a much more efficient, like cost efficient way as well as time efficient ways. These companies used to take months or years to deliver their services. AI can do that in a matter of minutes. If you have some big project going on, maybe in a month, AI can do all of your things that these companies used to do. So even if the management comes around and gives out a good commentary that, okay, we expect our revenues to grow by 10%, 20% in a year, that on ground it does not make sense, because we have already seen a lot of IT companies globally, not just in the Indian market. You talk about European companies, you talk about Asian companies. Companies have already started using AI and replacing all of the IT companies. So that thing would not just be limited to global companies. It will come down to Indian companies eventually. If not today, it will come down tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe in the next quarter, next financial year. The downfall for IT is coming in. So the safe sector, IT used to be called as the safe sector, right? The safe haven, blue chip sector. I think the tag of blue chip sector from IT, I think it's going to shift to some other sector. Maybe it would go back to some banking or NBFC sector, or maybe to pharma and healthcare. See, blue chip का मतलब क्या होता है? I don't know if any of the users know about it. The term blue chip companies and the safe haven for blue chip companies came in from the casinos ka style. In when you go play poker, you play casino, mein, you have a lot of chips, right? The blue chips are considered one of the safe ones. That is where the term for blue chip companies was tossed. Blue chip companies refer to all of the safe companies or the safe haven companies, companies that are expected to grow at a steady pace, and you won't lose a lot of money in a very less time in such companies. ऐसी companies को blue chip companies कहा जाता है. Earlier, these companies were TCS, Infosys, Tech Mahindra. You also have HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, Bharti Airtel. There are a lot of blue chip companies. The list goes on and on. But now that Infosys is seeing this huge fall, in fact, the entire IT sector is seeing this huge fall. I don't think these are blue chips anymore, right? Similarly, if you talk about, we were talking about TCS already. If you take any other IT company, you talk about Tech Mahindra. The results were not very great in Tech Mahindra either, right? Similarly, you're seeing a very same pattern here as well. The only difference between Infosys and Tech Mahindra technically here is Infosys is at a 52-week low. Tech Mahindra is yet to reach its 52-week low. So otherwise, the sentiment is negative on both the companies, right? So IT sector, so now I think it's time to exit your IT sector. You see, and ऐसा नहीं है कि ऐसे हम लोग individual analyst हैं, तो it's not like only we are seeing negative here. You talk about any big fund house, you talk about mutual funds, even random, just pick out any random mutual fund that invest in IT sector, or choose any thematic fund जिसमें majority investments are into IT sector. Those funds are giving you negative returns already. You talk about, if I have to name a few, we have Motilal Oswal's, a couple of mutual funds that deal in IT. We have their own IT basket, which is offered in PMS. All of those baskets and funds have started giving out negative returns. In fact, a couple of new fund houses that, they thought that IT is the blue chip and let's launch a blue chip fund. The funds have started closing down. And when I cannot stress on this enough, but IT sector is like it's gone. The funds are being closed, which means it's on a huge level that people are now they should exit IT stocks, IT sector at even if it's a profit or loss. It's time for you to exit IT and look out for other ways, other opportunities where you can generate good returns.
Now, Arjit, if you see the Nifty, then IT sector is falling, the banking sector is falling. Then how come Nifty is going up? What are all the stocks that are, pushing the Nifty up?
Right. So Nifty 50 moves based on heavyweights. See, IT sector down है, banking sector down है, ठीक है. HDFC is one of the heavyweights of Nifty 50, but we also have other heavyweights, other companies like Reliance Industries. If I just load up the chart of Reliance Industries and zoom out a bit, if you compare this chart with any of the IT company, you would still see some hope in Reliance Industries. Not because it's owned by Ambani, so you feel like yeah, they'll keep pumping in money, but because the chart is actually strong. It is near its support levels, and okay, the drawdown has been huge, but you still have hope. You still have order book, and at least Reliance Industries, it's not in a sector where AI would take over. Reliance Industries' major operations is petrochemical business. They procure oil and then refine it. AI cannot do refining for you. AI can give you services, but all the
Correct.
product related businesses, AI cannot replace them. You talk about Reliance Industries, you talk about any consumer durable company, you talk about Hindustan Unilever. Let's quickly load up its chart. Again, it's not a heavyweight, but it's one of the top Nifty top 50 companies. So you talk about Hindustan Unilever as well. By the way, we had recommended Hindustan Unilever and the targets are hit. So yeah, target hit. But if you talk about Hindustan Unilever's chart, negative, we saw a double bottom pattern here. जिसके बाद we had given a recommendation to buy and to watch this out. We had marked two levels already. Hindustan Unilever, once again, a stock which is doing very well. Consumer durable as a sector. If we just look at consumer durable sector, not sure if we have an index listed on. Yes, we do have an index. Got it on TradingView. So if you look at consumer durables as well, in the month of April, we saw pharmaceutical perform 6.28% in the month of April. Let's look at consumer durables as well. Opened somewhere around here on 2nd of April, 1st of April, and you're seeing somewhere around 11.76% returns in consumer durables. So if you had invested not in Hindustan Unilever, you take any consumer durable stock or maybe a fund that invests in has a lot of major investments in consumer durable sector, you would have made if not 11%, at least 8, 9, 7%. So at least you would have made in the month of April alone in that particular fund in that particular stock. So doesn't matter if IT is not doing good or if banking is not doing good. And by the way, Nifty is not performing very well either, right? If you compare in the month of April, just because of this gap up, the Nifty is positive. Otherwise, if you consider 8th of April or this particular point as the opening level for the month for Nifty, Nifty is not done very well either. Just 0.2%, 0.1% returns in the entire month. So even if banking is down, even if IT is down, there are other sectors that are pushing Nifty to at least sustain, to at least be flat. Don't be negative, but bro, please come on, at least be flat. We have oil and gas, we have Reliance Industries, we have a lot of other stocks as well. We talk about Tata Consumers, Tata Motors, auto sector, although it was flattish for the entire month, entire week. Still, we have a couple of other such stocks that are helping Nifty not close in the negative and still be flat to give some of the other return to their investors.
Got it. Arjit, I think that was a very detailed overview of the weekly market report. Do you have anything else to add before we wrap up?
Just one thing for all of the option traders, because I've noticed a couple of feedbacks that I got over the last week. Arjit, you would not tell us the right levels. Arjit, you still are telling us that even if the market is very good, you're saying don't have any overnight positions. So my opinion on all of that, please, if you want to save your capital, do not take any overnight positions. We are I won't say I'm an expert, but okay, I have a decent knowledge about markets. I might not be the expert. There are much more experienced people who have a lot more knowledge than me. But I have enough experience to tell you if this is the right time to invest in the market or not. So, if you have to save your capital, try not to have any overnight positions. You may have intraday positions. Intraday ke liye this market is the best. You won't get any other time in this financial year, maybe if everything goes well, touch wood, you might not get any better opportunity for intraday trades than such markets. You know, every day at 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., as soon as the market opens, you get an opportunity to buy before 12 p.m. you can wrap up your positions with a good amount of profit, and at 12:30 1 p.m. you can enter a short position and you would actually make good money by the market closes. So for intraday traders this is an awesome market. But if you are an overnight trader, maybe if you're a swing trader person, or a BTST trader, person who buys today and sells tomorrow, for BTST trades this is not a very good market. You'll get opportunities in future definitely once everything is settled, but until then avoid any overnight positions. If you want, we can look at the open interest and we can see which direction the market can open on the next trading sessions. If we can do that, Pratham.
Sure, 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 please.
Awesome. Then let's look at the open interest real quick. I won't take much longer. I'll just wrap it up as soon as possible. So, open interest suggests that the current strike price, which is 23,900, we are seeing a high put OI here. Again, once again, put OI is higher, which means if the market goes down here, will see good amount of selling in put options. Put options would lose their values. Call options might gain some value. So 23,850 again. We already had that level marked on Nifty, जहाँ से market ने support लिया. And right now after taking that support, market has come up to 23,900. There's high probability the market would come up to 24,000. Maybe the market would take resistance from that particular level because we already have high call OI on 24,000. So 24,900 and 24,000, this is your tight range to trade. I would suggest not to take any trade in this tight zone because even if the market would rise 100 points, your call premium would not rise a lot, right? Because intraday में as soon as the market open होने के बाद again people would evaluate if there's a right the premium is it expensive, is it cheap, is it at the right value or not. जब तक लोगों को लगेगा कि ओके दिस इज अ राइट पॉइंट टू बाय और टू सेल, तब तक आपका रेजिस्टेंस लेवल हिट हो जाएगा 24,000. सो I would recommend you not to trade in such, as per the data you should not trade right now. Only when you have good maybe data suggests that you should buy a position, you should take maybe buy puts or buy calls. Until and unless the data suggests so, I don't think you have to take a trade right now. But for now, there's a tight range for the market, 23,900 and 24,000. Let's see which direction the market opens on Monday, and then we'll have the right strategy to trade the markets. Until then, the levels are marked. Follow the levels, mark the levels, and trade accordingly. Please trade safe, not carry any overnight positions.
Perfect, Arjit. Thank you so much for a very detailed explanation. Uh, we will catch up once again on Monday at 4:30 p.m.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.